Welcome to the seventh episode of the Where's Home podcast, hosted by Chandler Dantzler. You can listen on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and watch on YouTube. Today we have the owner of the Jumbo Shrimp, Akron Rubber Ducks, Ken Babby. We're pumped to have you on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Yep. Before we start, just tell the viewers who Ken Babby is for the people that don't know.
I am the owner and CEO of two minor league baseball teams, the AAA affiliate of the Miami Marlins in Jacksonville, the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp, and the AA affiliate of the Cleveland Guardians in Akron, Ohio, the Akron Rubber Ducks.
That's awesome. All right, let's get started with the first topic here. You have been the owner since 2012. What brought you to be a minor league owner?
Well, first of all, I've always loved the game of baseball. I grew up around it. My family was always sort of immersed in the world of sports. My dad worked in baseball. He was a longtime general counsel of the Baltimore Orioles and Washington Redskins, and then later went on to a career as an agent in the NBA. So was really fortunate to grow up around the game, get a chance to see some pretty incredible teams. A part of our journey in Mid-Atlantic area in Baltimore, and watching the great Oriole teams of the late 80s and early 90s, and really getting a chance to learn the game. So I'm really fortunate to be here with you.
That's awesome. All right, did you always have the desire to work in the baseball industry?
Yeah, since as far as back as I can remember, I love the game and wanted to be working in it. I will tell you, wasn't my first job. My first job was working in media at the Washington Post. I was in the systems side of the company at first, and later moved into marketing and sales, and served as the chief revenue officer of the company for about 6 years prior to leaving in 2013.
All right. We talked about how you own two different teams. How do you balance being the owner of two different teams in different states?
Yeah, the key is really having great people that you work alongside with and growing. And part of that growth, I think, is being, alongside others that push you to get better, push us to perform, and strive really for greatness every day in what we try to do. You can't achieve it every single day, but one of the philosophies that I, have tried to follow is how can we get 1 or 2% better every day in what we do. That's a really important part of our philosophy. And, every day, and we're just coming off a wonderful weekend in Jacksonville and in Akron with wonderful crowds and, celebration of the Independence Day holiday. There's always opportunities to say, well, all of these 6 things went really, really well. Here would be 2 or 3 extras and things that we can do next year. So I'm always thinking about ways to make our experience better.
Gotcha. All right. 2 days ago, you guys had the biggest crowd in 4 years, a little over 10,000 fans. Can you talk about that game and the crowd that it had?
Yeah, it's a really special night at 121 Financial Ballpark. The thing I think that was most special to me about that night, was just bringing everybody back after all these years. Nothing better than being at the ballpark around the July 4th holiday that sort of screams Americana. But we haven't really had a chance to be able to do it as big these last few years, right, with COVID and the experience. Well, last year we weren't scheduled home on that date, and getting a July 3rd game on the schedule as soon as we saw it, we knew had the potential to be an amazing night. Our crowd got behind it. We did a Independence Day hat giveaway, which was incredibly popular.
That's awesome.
I have to thank our amazing partners at Nimnik, who was the sponsor of the night. And as you saw, the result was fun, with more than 10,000 people in the ballpark, which is always an exciting night for us.
Yep, that's great. In 2015, you bought the Jacksonville Suns and renamed the team called the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp. Talk about that and why you chose the name.
Yeah, it's a great question. So first of all, baseball and the history of minor league baseball in Jacksonville is a great story. The team was there and thriving long before we were there. The Suns were really one of the great minor league teams in the country. The ballpark, is fabulous. And we looked at this and said, how can we make it even better? Right. Sort of to my earlier point. And, it really started with sort of a deep understanding of the capital of the building and what the experience is, how we're thinking differently in terms of the growth of and growth of the experience. And And that really led us to a deeper conversation about, about what it meant to come to a game. At that point, what it meant to come to a Suns game. And when we asked people what it meant to come to a Suns game, they said, "Oh, we had a great time. The experience was great, but we wish the food was a little bit better, or we wish they had more fireworks nights, or they used to have great giveaways." And we realized that we needed to rejuvenate the experience of coming to a game. And that really started with a deep identity and brand analysis of who we were as a team and what those experiences really look like. Understanding Jacksonville, right? We were a military town, so we knew that red, white, and blue were going to certainly be part of our color scheme. And probably what led the way is we know that Jacksonville is this really big city from a landmass standpoint, totally spread out, but really operates as a great small town where kind of everybody knows everybody. And we're really proud of that as well. And that's a big part of our philosophy, right? Is this sort of oxymoron around the name of Jumbo Shrimp that really tells the story of who Jacksonville is. And by the way, no matter where you are in Jacksonville, you're either on the river or on the water, out at the beaches. And we knew we had to find a fun crustacean character to bring our logo alive, and hence the Jumbo Shrimp were born.
Yep, that's awesome. In the last 9 to 10 years of owning the Jumbo Shrimp, what has Jacksonville meant to you?
The city, I didn't know much about before we got here. And admittedly, we fell in love with Jacksonville, my wife and I, and my son, very, very quickly. And we didn't really know much about the city before we bought the team, candidly. And the city has been on a rocket ship ever since. One of the fastest growing cities in the state of Florida. One of the fastest growing cities in the country, but yet operates like this big family where, if you call somebody in a city like Jacksonville, they call you back, they want to engage with you, they want to get to know you. So often at the ballpark, I see people that I might've seen earlier in the week at a restaurant or out at the beach or at the gym, wherever you are. And so that small town feel to me is really special. And part of the reason we've found so much love in the community.
Gotcha. All right. What is your favorite memory you have with the Jumbo Shrimp?
Oh, that's tough. I guess there's two that immediately come to mind. One, our first game after we rebranded the team. That was a really long off season. It was an off season that was met with a lot of resistance, a lot of frustration in people who have been sort of down on the name, down on the team, etc. And we flipped that with the rebrand, and it was really tough for people. After a few weeks, and really after a few months, merchandise started to fly off the shelves. We were shipping Jumbo Shrimp hats and shirts to 50 states and all over the world. And that was before we'd even played our first game, Chandler. And so
That's
I
awesome.
didn't know what was going to happen when we actually started playing games, but opening day tickets went on sale, and the rest was history. That first opening day, the ballpark was full. And, I looked out as that national anthem was going, and, saw everybody in their Jumbo Shrimp, red caps and shirts, and just thought to myself, it was all going to be okay. That this crazy move to change the name of the team was going to work out okay. And the second memory, very similarly, was the first opening day after COVID. The pandemic was a really hard time for everybody that works in live entertainment, really a lot of industries that were service oriented. And our business was shut down, and we didn't play a game for 19 months. If you go back to the end of the 2019 season, that fall until opening day, April of 2020, really May, we started late in 2021. It's just, it's amazing. And I still get sort of emotional thinking about it. So it was an incredible accomplishment to keep our staff together and bring us back to baseball. And those two dates are really important to me, and I'll remember them forever.
That's great. If you want to represent your code, check out representthecode.com, the area code athlete brand. Represent the Code delivers premium quality area code inspired apparel, so you can rep where you're from, wherever you're at. Check out representthecode.com. All right, I've attended many games and I've always been interested in theme nights. What theme night do you feel is the best for the attendance?
Well, it depends on what you're interested in. So there's something for everybody at the ballpark, right? You know,
Yep.
if you're coming on Thursdays, you probably like our Thirsty Thursday beer, and that's all good because we have great beer specials for people who are of age, of course.
Yep.
On Fridays we have fireworks, and you know, that's been a real treat with our fan base and something that we really have brought. We think we bring the best fireworks in Jacksonville every year to the community, and that's a really big show and element. You know, Saturdays, every Saturday is a giveaway, and so that's been fun too. From our hat giveaways to shirts to the jumbo shrimp travel neck pillow, you know, those are all elements of you know, there's all elements of sort of surprise every year when those giveaways come out. And so we did our Hawaiian shirt giveaway last Saturday, for example. So there's always something fun going on at the ballpark. Sunday, you know, just to kind of wrap it up, you know, is my favorite day at the ballpark. It's really our kids' day. It's our Baptist Health Family Fun Day. Kids get a chance to play catch on the field before the game. They run the bases after the game.
That's
It's
awesome.
super fun for sure. So,
All right.
you know, the I guess the best answer to your question is there's something for everybody. And we like to serve the community. You know, our homestands are normally 6 games. They start on Tuesday, end on Sunday, and we get a chance to, to entertain fans, particularly all weekend long.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right. Are there any renovation plans for 121 Financial Ballpark in the future?
Yes, the answer is yes. Unfortunately, that's about as much as I can tell you, though.
Gotcha.
So here's what I can share with the great support of our city, you know, the mayor's office, city council. You know, we're going to embark on nearly $25 million of ballpark improvements over the next 3 years. You know, I can tell you it's going to include a new video board and scoreboard system, you know, replacement of a new idea that we're working on where the bleachers are in right field, but still maintaining our affordability and $5 tickets and $2 hot dogs every game. So fans must not worry that's going to change. But I can tell you, we're really excited about those plans. And here in the next few weeks and months, we'll plan a launch and share those with you.
That's awesome. Can't wait till that happens.
Yeah,
All right.
we're excited.
With either one of your teams, how much one-on-one contact do you have with your players?
Yeah, we see them a lot. You know, there's also a sort of a church and state relationship between the baseball side of the business and the business of the business. And it's an interesting question because when I was working at the Washington Post, you know, I was on the business side. I was interested in advertising and driving revenue for the company. I wouldn't walk down to the newsroom where all the stories were created and all the content was created, and tell them, you know, boy, I wish you'd, you know, write more stories positively about this company or that company. First of all, nobody would listen to me anyway. But second of all, it's just not how those businesses work. And that by the way, the news organization wouldn't come up to the business side and tell us, you know, that, you know, some iPad app or anything they were working on was going to change, you know, the advertising model of the business. And so it was excellent training for me because when I got into baseball, particularly minor league baseball, the same thing is true. You know, we don't go down to the clubhouse and tell the manager who to play at third base every night. One, you wouldn't want me choosing that. Two, that's the Marlins' choice, or in Akron's case, you know, Cleveland's choice. And they don't come running up to the office and tell us what to charge for hot dogs and popcorn. So it makes for a really nice partnership.
Gotcha. All right. I can imagine it's very rewarding to see some of your players in the minor league go on and play in the majors. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, you know, there have been a handful of players that we've seen in both Jacksonville and in Akron that's, you know, really been, you know, been fun for us. You know, in Jacksonville, you know, watching Jazz's success and watching him come up to the major leagues, you know, be on the cover of MLB The Show, having sort of national notoriety, become an all-star. These are really fun things for us because we remember him as a Double-A player in Jacksonville and, you know, hanging out after the game and seeing him. So that's exciting. You know, in Akron, we've had a number of players. I could go on and on with players. Probably my favorite that spent, you know, almost 2 years in Akron was Francisco Lindor. Really one of my favorite guys in baseball. You know, as I said, spent 2 years here in Akron, later, of course, went up to Cleveland, had great success, and then now is with the New York Mets. But really one of the all around really great character people. So we get a chance to see them. And then, when I go home at night after our game, what do? I put more baseball on, and it's fun watching guys and say, oh, we remember when those players played in our ballpark. And that's really exciting. It's as a fan, as a baseball fan, which is what I am first and foremost. That's a really exciting part of the business.
That's great. All right. You have had the Savannah Bananas come to both of your stadiums. Talk about that experience and what it was like.
The Bananas are just that, bananas.
Yep.
I give the whole notion of what the Savannah Bananas have created so much credit. Jesse Cole and his staff. Jesse created the Bananas. He's a founder of the Savannah Bananas. His wife Emily, their entire staff. It is a traveling baseball circus. It is fun. It is high energy. It's upbeat. They wow you. If you haven't seen one of their shows, either get up to Savannah. Hard to get tickets, but get up to Savannah and see them. Or who knows, we may be able to have them in the future in either Akron or Jacksonville again. But it's a real show. And as you mentioned, we had them late March in Jacksonville. Had them up in Akron again. This past weekend was really fun, sort of tied in with our 4th of July weekend. And we're really proud of that friendship and the relationship that we have with them.
All right, let's kind of shift it away from baseball for a minute. What are your thoughts on the future Jaguar Stadium and what the future looks like for Jacksonville?
Yeah, we're excited. I had a chance to see the renderings. The Jags were kind to have Harold Craw, our EVP and GM, and I over to the stadium to get a first look at the renderings. It's awesome. We're so excited about what's happening downtown in general, but particularly with the stadium, the complex around it, the hotel, the Four Seasons, the development, the training complex. Look, the more that people are going to be downtown, the more excited people are going to be to be downtown and in the ballpark. So, part of the experience of being in Jacksonville, we think it would be an important part of being in the sports complex, and the development in that stadium getting built. It may mean for some tough construction for a couple of years, but it'll be totally worth it in the end.
Yeah, for sure. All right. You're a very busy guy. What do you do in your free time when you have some free time?
I've got a 15-year-old son, Josh. My wife and I, love traveling. We love to eat. We love going around and seeing new places, and very fortunate to be able to do that. But to be totally truthful, away from the ballpark, a lot of times we're, watching other operations. We go to games in different cities. Next week will be the first week since the start of the season that I'll have 4 days with no minor league games, and we're getting on a plane and going out to Seattle to be at the All-Star game. So we're really excited to get a chance to see the experience of being at the ballpark and learning from others, and that's an important part of our life.
All right, if you could give any advice to someone wanting to play at the next level, what would you say to them?
I think just never give up on your dream, and have the courage to pursue your dream, have that inner strength to be great, to drive to be better, and to push. And I think part of that push comes every day by waking up and saying, what can I do to be better today? How can I be better for my team? How can I be better for my family? How can I be, better husband, better wife, better father? And that's, it's a big part of who I am, and I think what this leadership team look like.
Great. I'm very honored to have you on the podcast today. Is there anything else you would like to say to our viewers?
No, it's just an honor to be here. I'm so impressed that you've put this together. Viewers may not, or listeners may not have a chance to see this, but you've got an awesome Bold City jumbo shrimp crustacean hat on. We appreciate that, and look forward to seeing you hopefully down at the ballpark soon.
Yes, sir, for sure. Thank you for coming on the show, and good luck with the rest of your season.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you having me.